Shallow box. Yeah. I took it back and they did a fucking.
This fucking guy, man. Check this fucking guy out right here. The guy they call Wade. That's him right there. Street soldier. You gonna say what's up? Or you just gonna mean mug? Y'all see that? Oh, wait. Before we get into that, I bet you guys are wondering, what is this video about? Well, let's get back to the B-roll. Okay. Let's talk about scooters. That's what today's topic is about. It's about scooters, all right? What scooter did you buy? Why did you buy it? Is it fitting your needs? How long does it take before you decide that you want to get another one? Why do you want another one? What's wrong with the first one? What's wrong with the second one? Maybe you have multiple scooters. Let's talk scooters, guys. I need you guys to engage the comments below. You guys could DM me as well if you need to. If you have any specific questions, but let's talk scooters, all right? Now let's go on ahead and take you guys for a little ride while we talk about scooters. Let's go. All right, peoples. So let's first things first. Why? Okay. Why do you need a scooter? Technically nobody needs a scooter. We all kind of want one, but we can find a good use for it. Like me, this is all recreational for me. I like wind therapy. I like to get out there, feel the wind, get some fresh air, ride some trail systems like I'm doing right now. And that's why I buy scooters. I can do it at a faster pace and a longer pace. Me, I started doing this with Segways. You know, I had the Mini Plus and the Mini Pro, and you know, I love those things. They're great, especially because you can, you know, you can keep both of your hands.
Approaching a railroad crossing.
Yep. You can use both of your hands to hold groceries, to hold bags, whatever the case may be. And you guys probably aren't going to see me very well because it's a GoPro and the sensor's so small, and now we got the sunlight beating behind us. So, but yeah, I started on the Segway Mini Pro and the Mini Plus. They're great machines. They're just too slow and they don't go far enough. I needed something that was going to carry me, you know, 20 miles, 30 miles, you know, and the Segways, they just weren't cutting it. So I had to go ahead, get online, check out the waves. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear me because it's windy. I'm riding right into the wind, but yeah, we started riding Segways around here and graduated to the 9-Bot Max, and now I have the Dualtron Victor, looking at getting me another scooter shortly from now. Whew. Windy. Okay, so the first thing is why? Why do you want a scooter? Okay, then you got to figure out your needs. Not everybody needs a scooter, but not needs like if you need a scooter. We're talking about what does a scooter need to have for you as an owner of a scooter or a future owner of a scooter. You know, we're looking at portability. You know, does it need to be portable? Are you going to be driving with it? You're going to be putting it in your car, in your trunk, you know? So now we need to know if the scooter is big enough to fit in your trunk. How much does it weigh? Can you pick up that much weight, you know, as high as, you know, waist high. If that's how high your vehicle is, maybe you got an SUV, you need to go a little bit higher than the waist. So you need to keep those types of things in mind. Physical size, you know, how much space is it going to take up in the back of your vehicle or in the trunk of your vehicle? You know, we always got to keep that in mind. Another thing about what a scooter needs, I personally feel, I have to mention this, even though it's a little out of the subject of this area of this of the video, but the lighting. You know, does it have sufficient lighting? And if it doesn't, are you able to actually put sufficient lighting on it? You know, does the handlebar have enough space for you to do such things? You know, what type of light are you going to put on there? You know, and this all goes back to figuring out what type of rider you are. You guys have to know what type of rider you are. You can't just, you know, I mean, you might not know. If you're a new scooter rider or new to the game, we're going to call this a game. If you're new to this whole ordeal, you may not know what type of rider you are until you start riding, and then you start figuring out your style. You get what I'm saying? And now does the scooter fit your style of riding? So it can be a little challenging. So now YouTube and Google is going to be your best friends from this point on, and Facebook or any other social media outlets. So if you're looking at specific brands, so you didn't figure out all your needs, you didn't figure out what the scooter needs to have. Now you didn't figure out what type of rider you are. And if you haven't, you just need to know what type of scooter, what the needs of the scooter has to be. Once you get that, once you get that figured out, then you'll be able to move on to social media. You know, you'll start narrowing down the scooters. Okay, this scooter has this and this and this and this type of scooter that I think I might want. And you can hit the social media outlets, man. Use Facebook, use the forums if the scooter brand has forums. Use Instagram. I probably wouldn't use Instagram much. I'd probably use Facebook more than anything for a brand of scooter to look it up. But do stuff like that. Do your due diligence. Ask questions. You know, get on YouTube videos like mine and ask questions. There's a lot of scooters I've never ridden before. I've never even heard of. But when people ask me about them, I go research them. I'll get on Google, start looking them up, and I start asking people, because this is a question people don't ask themselves. What type of rider you are? What type of scooter do you need? You know, then you got to look at where you're going to be riding. You know, are the roads where you're going to be riding at well maintained? Are you going to be riding on jacked up roads? Is it going to be gravel roads, dirt roads, paved roads? You know, are you going to be a city rider? Are you going to be like a commuter? Like, all these things matter. You guys have to know these things. All right. And then there's range. Now, range to me is important, very important, actually. Why? Because let's just say you want to buy a scooter to commute with, right? And your commute's like 10 miles long, and you're looking at a scooter that says 30 miles long, right? It's 30 miles range. Depending on where you live, how much you weigh, the climate that you're going to be riding in, weather, the routes that you're going to be riding on, you know, if it's hilly, if it's mostly dirt roads, that all drinks, you know, it all uses more, it consumes more energy, right? Another thing I almost forgot, temperature, right? When the temperature gets below, I'm going to say about 73, 72 degrees, you start to lose range. When you're riding in 50-something degree weather, you're going to lose a lot of range. That 30-mile scooter is now a 12, 13-mile scooter, depending on the conditions, your weight, your riding style. If you ride hard, you're going to lose you could almost cut that in half. Cut that 30 in half, because guess what they use? They use a 165-pound rider. They use optimum conditions, 74 degrees, room temperature, you know, 165-pound rider at a constant speed. It's usually between, depending on how fast the scooter goes, if the scooter can't go 14, 15 miles an hour, then you can guess it's going to be around like 8 miles an hour. That seems to be another benchmark for the lower end scooters. But most of the time, when, you know, scooters like this one I'm riding, a Victor that can go 50 miles an hour, supposedly on its best behavior, unless you're a really light person, unless you're 165 pounds or less, or maybe a little bit more, depending on it. In the hills, if you're riding downhill. But for most people, that 30-mile range is really going to be 15 to 20 miles, you know, if you behave yourself. If you're running it hard, I'd say more closer to 15 miles, 12 to 15 is what your real range is going to be. So range is important when you're buying a scooter, guys. That's something you need to look for, depending on what type of rider you are. Remember what I told you guys. All these things work together with each other to help you find the best scooter for you. I mean, are you a fast rider? Or a slow rider? Maybe a low rider. And now, let's get into the nitty-gritty. So, scooters can have problems as well, just like cars, just like motorcycles. Well, the scooters can have problems as well, just like cars, just like motorcycles. Well, the scooters can have problems as well, just like cars, just like motorcycles. Well, the scooters can have problems as well, just like cars, just like motorcycles. Well, the scooters can have problems as well, just like cars, just like motorcycles. Well, the scooters can have problems as well, just like cars, just like motorcycles. Well, the scooters can have problems as well, just like cars, just like motorcycles. Well, the scooters can have problems as well, just like cars, just like motorcycles. Well, the scooters can have problems as well, just like cars, just like motorcycles. Well, the scooters can have problems as well, just like cars, just like motorcycles. Well, the scooters can have problems as well, just like cars, just like motorcycles. Well, the scooters can have problems as well, just like cars, just like motorcycles. Well, the scooters can have problems as well, just like cars, just like motorcycles. Well, the scooters can have problems as well, just like cars, just like motorcycles. Brands like Dualtron, like the one I'm riding right now. Ooh, 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 ooh. Scooters like the one I'm riding right now, they have this little stupid stem creak that goes on. If you listen carefully enough, you might even hear some of it in this video. Oh, look, I got a piece of branch stuck on my brakes. Look at that. Get out of here. Do it now. Get out. Oh, shit. Whiskey throttle. These scooters can have things like stem creaking, right? That's kind of common. That's actually with a lot of scooter brands. They'll make this little creaking sound. And depending on the brand scooter you have, you can go on YouTube and look it up. As far as dualtrons go, with this Victor, I do have a video that I put up on showing you guys on how to get rid of that stupid creaking sound. Google, YouTube, and Facebook are going to be your best friends when it comes to scooters and maintenance and learning more about these scooters from people who own them firsthand. Another problem you guys may be faced with is controller issues. You know, some of these scooters, you know, their controllers are notorious for blowing out. Now, I don't know if that's a controller brand thing. I don't know if that's a battery brand thing. I want to say controller brand more than anything. Uh-oh. Excuse me, guys. Thank you, thank you.
Whoa, cool scooter, bro.
So, controllers going bad on scooters, that's another thing that you guys, you know, have to keep in mind. And this is where doing your due diligence, you know, comes into play. You know, getting in touch with people who actually own the scooters that you're looking at buying. You know, asking them the questions that needs to be asked. Something I mentioned earlier in the video is aftermarket support. You know, making sure that the aftermarket support that you're wanting for your scooter is there, making sure it exists. You know, you guys don't want to buy a scooter that, you know, that you just can't buy anything for but just some headlights, or having to do, you know, custom work to your scooter to be able to mount things to your scooter. You know, it's nothing worse than having a scooter that you just can't find any aftermarket support for, you know, because everybody likes to customize their scooter for the most part. You know, you want to make it yours. You don't want it to look like the typical average one. So you do little touches that's attractive to you, that makes your way of life easier. You know, people put cup holders on these things. I got my little Wildman 3-liter case bag up there that you guys can see. Inside that Wildman bag, I have I have this battery pack for the headlights on this upper kitty bar. You know, I have the air pump in there, the Xiaomi Air pump. But look at that for the link in the description below for that. I keep my basic tools in there, and ever so often, it just depends on where I'm going, I might put my tire slime in there as well. You know, and I carry all these little things, you know, because you never know what's going to happen. Speaking of tire slime, let's talk about tires. You know, you want to see, you know, are you a tubed tire guy or a tubeless tire guy? So the difference is one tire, the tubeless, doesn't have an inner tube inside of it. It's just straight up like a car tire. You just have the rim and the tire, that's it, and some air in between them, all right, as far as in the middle goes. Tubed tires will have inner tubes in them. What's your difference? Well, to me, tubeless tires, if you get a flat tire, if it's big enough, you puncture the hole a little bit more, you plug it up. There's a whole set of videos on YouTube for that, so that's not going to be in this video, but you basically put a tire plug in the hole, seal it up, boom, it's done, and keep on riding. Inner tubes are going to probably and more than likely require you to take the inner tube out of the tire to repair it. Now, which one is best is going to depend on you as an owner, you know, as someone who's going to have to deal with repairs or patchwork. I kind of like inner tubes because it gives you that little bit of extra cushion before you start to lose air in your tires. You get what I'm saying? So now you have the actual tire. Hold on, let me see something here. So with the inner tube in your tire, you have, this is gonna be a pretty cool part. I'm gonna take you guys to this little section here. Super cool. They got the trees that kind of go over, make it like a little, that form a tunnel. I call them tunnel trees. It's pretty cool, ain't it? I like tubed tires because tube tires, like I said, you have the thickness of the tire and then you got the thickness of the inner tube as a barrier between a puncture. You get what I'm saying? The good thing about both is you could put tire slime in either one. You got tire slime brands that's called tire slime. You got Dilloz, which is another popular one. That's a very popular one within the community of bicyclists and e-scooters and EUCs, which are electric unicycles. Dilloz is a very popular brand. What I did, because I didn't want to wait for that stuff to come in, is I went to my local specialized bicycle dealer. If you have a specialized dealer or any kind of a bicycle dealership, go to the dealership and buy what they got. It's these are all tires and end tubes, man. It's all the same stuff, same shit, different toilet. So that's what I did. So I put the specialized brand liquid in my tires, and haven't had an issue since. Now, some scooters like this Dualtron Victor, the inner tubes that they come with are kind of thin, so they're kind of easy to puncture. Not everybody has that same luck. Some people have them and never got a puncture. So, something to keep in mind at least for the Dualtrons, for most of them, 50 PSI, 50 is a typical PSI that you want to have in your tires. If you don't want to get punctures as easily. It seems to be the sweet spot for some reason. Ever since I ran 50 PSI in my tires, haven't had a flat since. So you want to think about that. Does it have, tubeless tires? Does it have tubed tires? Another thing that you will see with the tube and tubeless tires are split rim design, which is usually going to be an inner tube tire versus a single solid tire. If you have to change the actual tire out and you don't have an inner tube, you have a tubeless tire. Changing the tire is going to be a little challenging because you have to really kind of bend the rubber to get it off, and same thing with putting a new one back on. But then, with the tubed tires, the tires that have an inner tube in it, some of them split in half. So it makes changing tires very, very easy. Same thing for changing inner tubes. It's a design that many didn't like. I actually didn't like it when I first got it, but now I'm kind of like, you know what? It's actually a good thing. Things you're going to have to do when taking things apart on your scooter, that's another thing, is changing screws. Most of these scooter companies, they put cheap screws on these things, and then when you take them out, they're stripped or they snap on you. So I always tell people, I recommend people all the time, well, if you're going to change tires, rims, motors on your scooter, anything that's going to deal with the wheels itself, because they get very, very hot. A lot of these parts are aluminum. Aluminum expands, and they shrink a little bit, then they expand and they weaken over time. So if you haven't had to change anything in a while with your scooter, boy, this video can be really, really long. That's just one thing to think about when you're buying a scooter, okay? It's just tire changes and stuff like that. Suspension. If you look at the suspension on the Victor, riding off-road, that's just what we call with the Dualtrons are cartridge-style suspension systems. So basically all the stuff that act as a suspension is in that one little cartridge in the back of the scooter, as you guys can see right there. This is how it looks in action. I'm gonna go back up that hill that we went down to go in that little cool section. Okay, so as you guys can see in that little section there, how the suspension actually moves about, that's your cartridge style. So, things that I like about the cartridge style, well, it's not the 9-bots suspension list setup. I mean, I've never actually rode an electric scooter with an actual spring and shock, but a lot of people who have, they say the spring and shock is the way to go. So, figure out what you need. This type of suspension with the cartridge is comfortable for me. I don't really have any issues with it, to be honest. Everything works as it should, as I expect it to. It's pretty plush, okay? Most people say they're very stiff when you first get them. I believe it is kind of, I mean, I don't know, maybe is it stiff? I'm 205 pounds as far as rider weight goes. So I always find it very comfortable for me, so. It may be comfortable for you, especially if you're coming from a 9-bot Max or any other scooter that doesn't have suspension. This is probably going to be very comfortable for you to ride as far as suspension goes. Hey. So yeah, this is probably going to be comfortable, you know. It's probably going to be comfortable for you no matter what you are riding. I mean, if this is the type of suspension you have. So, how you doing? I'm taking like the long way. Anywho's. So you got to figure out what type of suspension you're going to need. If you're going to be riding off-road, for the most part, it's probably almost obvious, it's a no-brainer, that you need to get a scooter that has actual shock and spring setup. Just strictly for comfort, you know. I personally, okay, there you guys go. Me personally, suspension doesn't matter for me. I can get the Victor about maybe about 8 to 10 inches off the ground, you know, just from jumping it like a bicycle. So some of you guys may be able to do the same, even more actually. I know some of you guys are bloody superstars, but I can get the Victor pretty far off the ground if I need to jump it over a curb or something like that. So suspension is not really an issue. Getting over obstacles is really not an issue, you know. Ground clearance. If you guys are going to be riding off-road, you might want to make sure you have the right kind of ground clearance. Does a scooter have enough ground clearance? Is the suspension adjustable to give you enough ground clearance? Dualtrons, you know, as far as the cartridge guys go, they seem to come at their highest settings as far as height goes. So you're gonna have maximum ground clearance when you get your Dualtron, pretty much, all right? Unless you get the X models. Dualtrons do have those X models that are like, they got straight up like motorcycle type suspension. And those are gonna be the ones that you may be able to go up and down on with suspension. Guys with the Dualtron X models, go in the comments below and let these guys know if that's something that's, you know, can you actually raise the X1 from its factory settings? You know, can you stiffen the suspension? You know, let them know. Something kind of cool, guys. Let's try this little obstacle course they got here. Let's see if I could, it's like a scooter training course. That's pretty neat. Actually, we're gonna see how the suspension runs. All right, let's go. I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't do it. Let's give you guys a quick video on how this thing looks up close. Sometimes these signs be capping, but I guess they weren't capping on this one. Look, I have street tires on my Victor, and in single motor mode, even easier in dual motor, I was able to do that with no problems. It was actually pretty easy. Surprisingly pretty easy. So don't think that you have to get off-road tires. I would say off-road tires are going to be more useful when you're riding on loose gravel roads, This right here is packed gravel. It's pretty easy to ride on. I wouldn't ride it in the rain because the scooter is not IP rated, but they do pretty well on gravel like this, you know? And that stuff that I was riding on was like semi-soft, semi-hard. Damn, this squirrels is just jolting. Tires, you know? So the tires aren't really, you know, they're just straight up street tires pretty much. Got my tires both front and rear at 50 PSI. So, that's that. And yeah, guys, yeah. So that's pretty much what we got for today. I just wanted to let you guys know, or give you guys an idea on different things to look for when you're buying an electric scooter. You know, there's a lot of things that you don't think about considering when you have to consider, you know, a bunch of things. So hopefully this video was useful to you. You found some type of value in it. Share it with your buddies, you know, anybody that you may know that's looking for another scooter. It's just things to think about, things to keep in mind, you know. I'm always thinking about these things. Like I told you guys, I'm currently thinking about my next scooter. I almost pulled the plug on one, but I canceled it in time before it was too late. I may end up going with that option again. I won't tell you guys. You guys will just see it on the channel when it shows up. But yeah, that's it for this episode of What's This Video All About? All right, Jay on the Segway here. Like I said, hope you guys like what you saw. Like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next one, all right? The next video is going to kind of tie into this one. So keep your eyes open for that, all right? Peace.
Hey, did Austin tell you he's on his way?
Yeah.
Of course. And
Why does it look like it's closed? Oh, okay, you guys are still open. It looks so dead here.
I said, oh, thought you'd be coming in for me. He said, why would I come in for you?
Who's that, Austin?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, I forgot my damn kickstand and broke off.
Hate to see it.
Yeah. Nah, come here. Where you going? Where you going?
Fucking wild, dude. Chick fuck scooter gang.
What's good? Where we going?
Right ahead.
Yeah.
Going left?
At the next light. Is that you? Latest. What's up? Was that you chirping the tires? Oh, I was like, oh, clean ran the red light. I was like, who the fuck was that? I said, was that you, Wade? And I was thinking, I was like, wait a minute, his tires don't sound like that. Look at this one. I guess we don't know where the stop line is. Yeah, I think I was there around 46, 47 at some point. This thing's a fun, man. I love this thing. I don't like riding this fast with no gear, so I'm about to slow it down now. Usually I just ride slow if I'm looking like this. You got to see it. I don't know what it looks like back there. Some people might be like, what the fuck is that? Why is it going so fast? Green light. All right, and so with this victim, speaking of scooters, with this victim, we got 59.7 volts, 60% battery life after 20.5 miles. I was kind of going fast for some of it. I was going kind of slow for some of it. But is this the scooter for you? I don't know. Got to get to the drawing board, make up your little list, everything that I told you in this video, hit the checks, see what scooter checks all the marks for you, and that'll be your scooter. So with that being said, Jay on the Segway here. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate your support all the time, all day, every day. Stay tuned, like I said, for the next video. Hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, that bing, bing, bing. So anytime I set up another video, you guys know, y'all know the drill. It's the YouTube stuff, all right? Anyways, get that light from behind me. Yeah, cable thing's still on. Yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. All right, see you later. Peace.